Hello and welcome to my first episode of my LEGO Geonosis series. This series is going to be based off of Star Wars Attack of the Clones Episode 2 of the Battle of Geonosis. Now, the Battle of Geonosis is my absolute favorite battle in all of Star Wars, and I have a bunch of dark orange pieces ready to go to start this series. And as you can see, I've already started a good bit of it, so let's dive in. Now, the main aspect of Geonosis I want to include in this build is, of course, the massive battlefield section that we see with all the ATTEs and the SPAT cannons going against the droid carriers. They're the massive droid control ships that are launching out. Now, the main aspects I want to include with that are, of course, the battlefield section, which will include the dark orange fields that are going to be mainly based off of the terrain of Battlefront 2, which you get a lot of great looks at the terrain. As you can see, here are some inspirations for what that terrain is going to look like using a mixture of dark orange and dark orange plates, like 1x1 plates going all the way through it, as well as medium nougat little bits going all the way across, because medium nougat is going to be a great accent color for Geonosis, as you have little mounds of extra dirt as you see in the movies. Now, another aspect, of course, we want to add in this mock is the droid hangar sections for the actual droid carriers that I mentioned earlier. That's going to be the focal point, but way down the line in this series, as well as other fun aspects as some Techno Union ships that you see from Battlefront 2. I don't know if I'm going to include them like standing up and flying. I much rather would want to include them like crash down like you see in the OG Battlefront 2, where you actually can get a control post or some kind of like area where clones and droids can take cover behind. I think that'd be really cool. Also, another aspect we see from the Galactic Assault in the newer Battlefront 2, you have to destroy the Techno Union ships. So I think that's a fun aspect to add later on in this series. But for this portion of Geonosis, we're working on the very back end of this mock. Now, this mock might end up being the same size as my Kashyyyk mock, being 40 gray base plates, but you know, we'll wait and see until we see what's going to happen with the main build. But the main goal of this is just to continue to build out the main flatter, like the main flatter terrain of Geonosis, but we want to add some different ravines and hilly sections to make it not so boring. And what we kind of see in Battlefront 2 is lots of like trenches and divots. So that's what I started to begin with here. Multiple different trenches and different layering. As you can see, I'm putting down a bunch of 16x16 plate and a lot of different layering of different slope pieces and wedge bricks and plates to getting a nice little like effect of it kind of gradually being like going down further and further, maybe some weathering effects from the wind. So that was the main goal with doing that. This module is going to be a 2x2 gray base plate section. So I went ahead and added a lot of the 16x16 plate in different height variations to try to maybe get some of the aspects of the trench all laid out. And that's what I was doing here with building up a lot of the different sloped areas, try to connecting those bits for can even it out naturally to the flat portions on the very top section. So that was a joy to make. But after several days of building, this is what I've got so far with a few Geonosians and battle droids. Just kind of give you a hint of what some figures might look like. Even though this is going to be a main section for all the clone troopers, I'm absolutely adoring the terrain work so far with the trenches on the bottom, and of course the little section as you can see here with some nice little medium nougat areas that are based off of Battlefront 2. It's really happy how that section turned out, and it keeps going down and down until you get to the portion where it's going to start building back up with a lot of the wedge bricks. But with that being said, let's really start to get back to work on the rest of the mock. Now, the end game for this massive Geonosis build is for the droid control ship section that's going to be placed on the opposite end of these tables. Is going to be built up kind of on an incline on a hill. So my main goal for this is to gradually build up the slopes going upward till we kind of get a hillish kind of look where it's kind of naturally forming. And here is what it's kind of looking like so far. As you can see, I've totally kind of leveled out and has a natural progression going up. And as you can see here now, I have over like 2/3 of this section of Geonosis finished. We just have to finish the rest of all these plates, which are already placed down and ready to go. And we can just finish up all the dark orange plates and tiles where we can totally complete this section of Geonosis. Now that the terrain for the first 2x2 gray baseplate section of Geonosis is complete, it's time to add some of the vehicles and clone troopers to kind of give a sense of how this is going to look when the MOC is totally finished. Now, I added a variety of regular phase 1 clone troopers with some of the lieutenants, captains, and sergeants running up into the battlefield, really capturing the essence of what you see from Star Wars Attack of the Clones. And guys, I have to say, this does not disappoint. This truly makes me so happy looking at this. It looks so cool with all the figures now on it, kind of giving it much more life of them running up through the battlefield. And of course, as you can kind of tell, I have this nice like dark orangey yellow light I can shine over the MOC to truly capture the kind of aura, the kind of atmosphere, you could say. So every time we add a new portion to Geonosis, I'll be shining this light on it to really capture the effect like we're in the atmosphere. Another good thing I absolutely love about the build so far is it really feels like you're straight in EA Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the Geonosis map on Tripper Hive. I can just remember playing in that map and going through all the different kind of trenches and valleyways when you get kind of the open area and end of gameplay. Man, that is just gets me right back into the rhythm of that. So I'm going to be trying to add a lot of Battlefront 2 vibes. Even though this is based off Attack of the Clones, I feel like they really accent each other really well. Obviously I added the ATTE and a couple of clone troopers. Now, I don't know exactly how these clones are going to be looking when the final product is here, but definitely there's going to be a lot of clone troopers marching up like you see at the very beginning of the Battle of Geonosis where all the gunships are landing. So this probably will have a lot of the gunships landing and troopers running through, as well as maybe to the left where the ATTE is actually at, where we may build a custom SPAT cannon. But overall, super happy with the way these like the figures look on the build so far, and it's going to be really awesome to continue working on this. Guys, thank you so much for watching the first episode in my LEGO Geonosis series. Tune in next episode where we can start in the next module where it's going to be kind of built into the ground and coming up. So it's going to be a lot of different layering and hills. It's going to be super fun, and I'll see y'all next time.